and a huge welcome to the Entrepreneurs Circus, where we don't just talk business, we talk about the real, messy, chaotic life behind the scenes. I'm your host, Charlotte Wibberley, ready to dive headfirst into the sea of highs, lows, and everything in between that comes with being a parent running a business while also wrestling with the other curveballs that life throws our way. So grab yourself a cuppa, or better yet, pour yourself a gin. It's time to gear up for raw, unfiltered chats with fellow business owners navigating the high wire of being a CEO, the juggling act of parenting, and the merry mess that accompanies it all. This is entrepreneurship in its glorious chaos. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Entrepreneurs Circus. Now, I'm here today with one of my very good friends and absolutely amazing entrepreneurs, the lovely Katie Godfrey. And I'm going to be chatting with her off the record about all kinds of things to do with juggling business, family, life, and everything that goes in between. So a big warm welcome, Kate, my love.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. So happy to be here.
Not at all. Great to have you. So do you want to tell the guys that are listening a little bit about you, your business, and how you kind of got started in this crazy entrepreneurial world?
Of course. So my name's Katie. I've been in business now for 15 years. I started with my beauty salon, which I still have in a little village in Bedfordshire. That grew to a training academy, product range, which we still have. And then I went into coaching and podcasting about 6 years ago now. So it's all been quite a journey. Never thought in a million years this would be where I'm at. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I have had like a chain of salons. I had a whole franchise. I sold them before COVID, luckily. So yeah, it's a real journey.
Amazing. And it's worth saying, like, when I first met Kate and I were in a mastermind together last year. And when I first met her, I don't know that I appreciated at the time what a powerhouse she is and continues to be. But all this stuff that she's already achieved, I was like, bloody hell. How many years have you been running your business? I'm like 15 years already. So, I mean, tell us, what made you start your first salon? What made you start on this entrepreneurial journey 15 years ago?
I know. So backstory is that I left school at 13 years old due to being bullied. So I left school with no qualifications whatsoever, not knowing what the hell I was going to be doing with my life. That then took me on the journey of modeling. So I went on, I was basically a model for like 7 years full time. So without even realizing, I was actually like selling myself back then, because I had to work to get on castings and then I had to sell myself to get the job. And then I was constantly having to like market myself to like photographers and brands. So lots of that definitely has helped in my journey moving forward. But I always had this kind of dream that I wanted to have a tanning shop really randomly. I always used to love to tan, and I used to be like, oh, when I'm 30, I don't know why 30 was in my head, but when I'm 30, I'd love to have a tanning salon. And everyone used to know that, but we didn't really think anything of it. Then at 18 years old, I decided to open a model agency because I'd been in the industry for such a long time. All my agents were going to me, Kate, do you know a model that suits this or like that? And I was like, do you know what? I could literally do this myself. So I started my own model agency in my mum and dad's office at home. Yeah. And it got to the point where I was like, I'm so sick from working from home. I want to meet my models. I want to measure them. I want to do their portfolios. Why don't we combine it with a tanning salon?
Brilliant.
And that's basically what I've done. And within literally a few months, everyone was going, do you do any other treatments than just tanning? Do you do other things? And I was like, I think there's a call here for a beauty salon. So I closed the agency down and converted it into a full salon. And that's what it is today.
I feel like that's proper entrepreneurial spirit as well, isn't it? Someone comes to you and goes, oh, you do this thing, but do you also do this? And you're like, yes, of course I do. And suddenly it's a thing.
Honestly, I'm like, I'm not trained in this, but we will figure this out. Let's hire staff.
Winging it's part of the journey, I'm sure. Winging it till, was it fake it till you make it? But genuinely, that must have been amazing, tough and amazing at 18 to be, you know, have gone from this leaving school to starting as a model and then suddenly starting running your own business. And, you know, I'm guessing at the time without knowing really much about running a business.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit of a running joke now. I mean, who opens up a salon with not one client? Like, I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. No wonder I was close to bankruptcy several times. But I was just, even when I was young, like, I was so passionate about business, like, and learning and marketing and, just how a customer journey buys, like, all of those things I've really been interested in without even realizing. But I think when I realized, opening the doors to this salon, you can have the most beautiful salon, you can have the best tan or the best nail products, it still doesn't necessarily get the clients through the door. So I did have to really have this strong marketing plan. I built a personal brand, all of those things, and then the salon did eventually grow, but it definitely wasn't easy. Like no joke, it was close to bankruptcy several times. And I was like, I either let this go and do go under and just go and get a 9 to 5 somewhere, or I just keep plowing through and keep trying to learn every single thing I possibly can. And that's what I've done.
And amazing. And I mean, although those times must have been proper scary and tough, and thinking whether you just like jack it all in and take that, I suppose, easier option at that point, or whether you kind of power through and try and make it work. Like, those things are still the things that you take with you and now pass on to other business owners, right? It's still those lessons, as twee as it sounds, the failures or the hard times are the bits that teach us the real lessons. But surely that now is the stuff that really makes you be able to help people in all kinds of situations with their own businesses.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I teach anyone within the hair, beauty, aesthetic space now, and actually other businesses, coaches, etc., anyone service-based. But it's like I can really, really resonate with them when they don't have clients booking in, when they've got all them white spaces in their diaries, when they don't actually know how to do anything other than do an amazing set of lashes or hair or whatever that might be. And I think it helps them realize as well that, okay, I did come from that background too. Like, I wasn't, born into business. So yeah, it does help people, and I love helping people on their journeys and seeing the transformations that they have.
Yeah, no, I can imagine it's proper rewarding, given where you've been, the journey that you've had, to see other people go from, struggling to successful in your masterminds and things. That must be absolutely amazing and incredible.
Yeah, I get so super passionate. I mean, a lot of the times I have to tell the clients, like, I know this is your business, but I will fully talk like it's my own.
Yeah, I'm invested.
I'm so invested.
Like, too much.
Oh, I get emotional with them and all sorts.
Oh, no, but I think, like I say, as twee as it sounds, I think having gone through sort of the successes and the challenges that you've had when it comes to your business, that is what makes you such an amazing mentor now for people, that you can sort of almost get a grip on any situation that those business owners are facing and be able to give them different ways that they can kind of navigate through it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know that on top of business, so you're not just a business owner, so you've also got 2 kids as well. So how, tell me, have you handled growing this fantastic business with having your 2 little people as well?
I'm not sure. I mean,
Don't know.
I had to stand up the other day in this retreat that I'd done, and it was like, oh, what's your biggest win, or it was something like that anyway, and I was like, that my 2 children are still alive.
I think we all feel like that on a daily basis. How's this happened?
No, I love being a mummy. They're obviously the best things ever that have ever happened to me. But it is hard, I'm not gonna lie, doing both motherhood and business life. And I love business. To me, it's a hobby. Like, I live and breathe it. I wouldn't say I'm a mumsy mum, but that's okay. They experience the world. I travel with them. I do all the fun things with them, and that's definitely like where my piece comes in as being a mum. And everything I do is for them. Like, I homeschool my daughter. I don't know how I do that either. But she just sees and watches everything I do, and I can just see her turning into this beautiful little girl that she is. And I know this is all helping her build to who she is as a person as well. And my son is just an absolute live wire and have no idea what he's going to turn out to be.
He's still a work in progress, isn't he?
He is, but he's not even 2 yet, so we'll give him a break.
Oh, it's amazing. And I have to say, like, seeing on your socials and things when you've got your daughter at work with you, or she came to a conference with you, didn't she, recently?
Yeah, she done a 2-day conference with me.
Amazing.
She loved it, but she was like, "This is a little bit long, Mum." Like, it's nearly finished. It's nearly finished.
Snacks, always snacks. It's the key to everything.
Yeah, but she does love it, and it's hilarious because she will come into the salon and she'll like butt in when it comes to like team meetings, or she'll be like, "Can we talk about customer service because you didn't offer me a drink?"
Oh my God, I love the sass.
She is a right sasspot. She's definitely an entrepreneur in the making.
It really interests me because I think, you know, as a fellow unmumsy mum, obviously I started my business because I had kids. So the whole thing for me was going, how do I make sure that I have a way of making money, but that also means that I can somehow be a present parent to these kids. Whereas for you, you had the business and your kids have kind of come into that. So like, did you have challenges at the beginning in terms of like trying to keep this thriving business afloat, and like particularly after just having kids, were you like, this isn't going to work?
Yeah, I really, really panicked. I mean, I always wanted a little baby, and I always wanted a daughter, and it's all I could dream of. But I didn't actually quite think, okay, well, if I do fall pregnant, then what's going to happen to the business? Because at the time when I fell pregnant, I had 2 salons, the training academy and the product range, and they were my babies. Like that's all I could think of. I had no other ties, like would just work all the time. And when you're service based as well, normally you're the main earner in the business. So I was like, when I fell pregnant, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, but how am I going to do this? Also, I was single and pregnant, which isn't great. My parents were disgusted, but they're fine with it now.
They're over it now.
They're over it now.
Brilliant.
I would say it really, really formed like me as a businesswoman, because I was like, I seem to be really good at creating these salons and doing the things and being very much in the business. But now I have to learn how to step out, get teams taken over, get the businesses to run passively and let me look after my little girl on my own. And I managed to do that. And thankfully, I managed to do that really well. Like, really well. Like, she travels the world with me, like even when she was baby, like we've done everything while the businesses are still running. So for me to now be able to pass that on to the others is literally a dream.
It's like life goals for me, that whole, like, I'm not saying it wasn't without its challenges, but you and your daughter sort of business, traveling the world, so many people, I think particularly people listening to this podcast, will be sitting there going, this is what I want, and not in that sort of sipping cocktails on a beach, you know, passive income rolling in, doing nothing way, but just in a way that works in terms of business having its time and being successful, but also doing it to enable your personal life.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, that must have been, you must have sat there feeling absolutely incredible having achieved that.
Yeah, and super proud. And I don't want anyone to think, oh yeah, like that cocktail life, because it definitely isn't that. Like 2 days after she's born, I'm in the salon doing a disciplinary. Like, it's not that I got to have maternity and, you know, these 9 months off. Well, I had half my team on maternity last year, and I get envious that they do get to have, you know, 12 months off work without me even contacting them once, and enjoy that time in their baby bubble. I might have had the freedom and been able to travel, but I definitely can't switch off.
Yeah.
That's the difference, right? We can't be like, no, team, do not contact me, I've just had a baby. It doesn't work like that.
No.
But it depends what freedom means to you, or what success means to you, and everyone is so different with what they want. And for me, that works because I also can't switch off anyway, so it keeps me going, having things to work on, but I also can do that with the hours and the timings that I want to do it.
Yeah, it's the difference between, like, if you were in an employed role and not, you know, the demands were constantly there. When we run our own businesses, often we can't switch off because, one, the buck stops with us, but also, and we were talking about this just before this podcast, but there's new ideas. There's the creative side of being an entrepreneur that doesn't just go away at 5 o'clock every single day. It's always there, often in the middle of the night. You know, new ideas or new ways of improving things that come to us. So, but, you know, I'm a great believer in the fact that there isn't really sort of that work-life balance, but it's more like a flex between it all. And we make a choice. We have the power to make a choice as to how we want that to look, so that the money we make and the businesses we run then enable what we want to do from a personal life point of view, which obviously you're an amazing advert for.
Yeah, the work-life balance thing, like, always gets me, because you do think people say it all the time, like, I just want that work-life balance, but I'm like, what is it even, is that? Like,
Yeah,
for example, now I'm going to go and spend the whole summer in Bali with my children, which sounds like the dream, and it will be the dream. But ultimately, I'm working my bloody ass off before I go to make sure that I can achieve that. But then I know all my energy will be into work now and not necessarily my children. But then when it comes to summer, all my energy will then be in my children. So it just depends, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I mean, having been in the mastermind with you last year and knowing you as my friend, I know what an absolute powerhouse you are in terms of getting stuff done. Like, I'm always in awe of you, Kate. Like, do you have some sort of secret in terms of being as consistent as you are? Like, what's your secret? I need to know it.
No, I definitely think there might be some underlying issues.
I think that goes without saying for most entrepreneurs, to be clear.
Just don't, I mean, honestly, I don't even know why I have a TV in my house, because it doesn't get switched on. I just don't stop. But like, it's my personal care. Like, it's what keeps me happy. I do think sometimes I could give myself a break and not be like as efficient as what I am. But at the same time, it hasn't hurt me either. So yeah.
So you talked there about personal care. You've obviously got businesses and kids. What do you do, if anything, for you as part of this crazy mix?
So 2 things I'll never let go of is get my lashes and my nails done. So every 2 weeks I will go to my salon and get them done. And that is the only time I go to my salon as well. The staff are like, we never get to see you. I'm like, it's fine. We can have a catch up every 2 weeks. So that is like a no-brainer for me. And same with my hair. My hair will always get booked in every 6 weeks. So they're the things that I have to do. I love reading before bed. So if I can kind of switch off, even if I just read a page or two, at least that's helped me just put my phone down, read before bed. And I love waking up in the morning and having a workout, which has been a lot harder since having my little boy, but I still do try and do that as much as I can.
Yeah, a good book in the evening, switching the phone off. I mean, transformative, leaving my phone out of the bedroom as well. I used to take it into the bedroom and have it on my side table, and I, just as my own worst enemy, would end up looking at it. But I think it's important, isn't it, to try and find ways when we are in this crazy circus of like business, kids, family. For me, then it's like, what does the husband need to do? What do the kids need to do? Where do I need to be? What do my clients need from me? To have those kind of pockets of time or little things that actually are purely just for us.
Yeah, and I think even like the phone is just such a hard one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, really difficult. But I think even just me like switching off my notifications, WhatsApp, for example, I will check my WhatsApp when I have the time or the energy to do that and get back to everyone, rather than, I'm very much the person, if a notification comes up my phone, I have to answer straight away. Otherwise, I will forget or bug me. Because I'm so like on the ball. Whereas if I don't see the notification, then I won't reply. So even just having a little tweak like that, like, really helps me.
It's the horror, isn't it, of going into your WhatsApp or your, for me, it's Facebook Messenger, and going, shit, I didn't reply to that message.
Yeah.
And realizing that people are going to think, or for me, I worry that people are going to think I've ghosted them. Whereas really, it's exactly as you've just said. I've opened it, I've read it, and I've thought I'll go back to that, and then
Yeah, no way, completely gone.
completely gone. Yeah. So it is a biggie. That's such a good tip though, like to not have the notifications coming through, so you just don't see it. And instead you're picking the time that you go in and deal with those.
It makes such a huge difference, on all notifications, for whether that's Instagram, emails was a big one. I was like, switch that off straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely helps me.
So let's just talk a little bit about support for your journey, because we all like to think that we're powerhouses that do this completely solo, but I'm sure there's been people that have supported you throughout your journey. So like, who would you say has been instrumental in helping you to kind of build up your salons, build up your businesses, go into your coaching as it is now? Like, has there been one person, many people? What's helped you?
On a personal level, definitely my mum. She's literally my absolute rock, personally and in business. I actually employ her now, which I always wanted to do. I don't think it was necessarily her dream, but it was my dream.
It is now.
It's now. I'm like, you are not retiring. I don't know what you're going on about. She's always been my biggest support, even when I was younger, like from bullying days when I wanted to commit suicide, all of that stuff. Like, she was a person that kept me alive. I generally say, like, I would not be here if it wasn't for my mum. And she's, yeah, my ultimate biggest support. And then when it comes to the rest of business, it is just putting my all into my teams, really. And that isn't anyone in particular, it's who the team is at the time. Teams change, people come, people go, but I could never have also got where I am without a team, because you can't be all things to all people, and you can't do all things all the time.
Yeah. And I know that it's, that resonates with me completely. I know that many people, entrepreneurs, do kind of struggle probably earlier in their journeys, but at any point in their journey, sometimes with the sort of delegation fact. And, we've built these businesses from the ground up, and letting go of some areas of that obviously does come with a risk. But the other side of it is that you get your time back, you get more freedom, you can scale, right?
Yeah. And I think it definitely is a skill. Like, I normally say I'm like queen of delegation, especially in the beauty space with the salons, anything like that. I think I'm learning. I mean, we had a chat before we hit record, like when it comes to the coaching side of things, I'm still learning on that, because I'm like, going back to even what my mindset was like 15 years ago before teams, like, if I can do it quicker, if I do it myself, or I know what to do, so I'll do this. But then you find that you're just doing everything, and then you're just ticking off to do this rather than doing like your money making tasks. So I think if there are things that you can delegate over, building a team that way, outsourcing to other people, is definitely the way to go.
Definitely. Yeah. We were talking, weren't we, about kind of yes, we can get stuff done as entrepreneurs ourselves because we know what we want. We know, we can dive straight into it then. We've got the idea, but equally, does it come at a cost of sacrificing time with our families, being the person that's there, creating something from a visibility tactic to make more sales? What's the ultimate cost for it as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Well, Kate, have you got any final insights or tips of advice for anyone that's sitting there thinking, I'm struggling with juggling my family and my business, and I just want to give it all up?
I would say just try and separate your time as much as possible, because juggling just doesn't work. Like, have your set time for your business or your startup, have your separate time for your family, and try your best not to interlink it. Because I know what it's like when you're trying to do dinner for the kids and they're wanting this, and then your phone's going and a client wants this, and it's just like, oh my God, you just want to chuck the phone out the window or kill the kids, one or the other.
Yeah, something's got to
go. So I'm just like, do you know what? Just separate it. No one is going to die if I don't respond to a message, and my kids will be happy if they have me ultimately and not start mixing work into it. So if you can just separate your time, everything will be a lot easier. And just don't give up, because it is hard. Business is hard. It's a massive roller coaster journey. But it is doable. I always say, think, like, just remember why you started in the first place, and try and keep that in your head.
I feel like your tip around being like 100% in either area, your business or with your kids, was made for me. That is like literally making the dinner, trying to get the kids to do their homework while scrolling through my phone, checking for my emails and things. But you're right. I think being in that moment of I'm at work or I'm with the kids, because no one's going to die if you.
Yeah, honestly, it was only like a year ago that I made sure this was like a stern thing across the business as well, because I'd find the team would always contact me when I was with the kids. Yeah. And I was like, this is just really, really stressful. And I'd find myself so stressed that I was like, after 3 o'clock, I'm not contactable, like, unless there's an absolute emergency. And that just really helped. And also Fridays is my day with my kids. And the weekend, so I'll make sure I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The team also know, do not contact me on a Friday. unless it's urgent. And it's just putting them boundaries in place, right? Because when you're mixing it, it's so hard.
Yeah, and you end up failing at in one of those areas, at least one of those areas anyway.
You can't do good at both at the same time.
No. And I think often we find that out the hard way.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your business and your personal stuff with us, my love. Really, really enjoyed it. If people want to come and find you, you definitely all should go and check out Katie. She's amazing. Where is the best place for them to find you?
I'm on all social media platforms, but I hang out mostly on Instagram, which is KG_Katie Godfrey.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming and joining me. And for those listening, thank you so much for listening. And I will see you for the next episode of the Entrepreneur Circus podcast. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's it for today. If something sparked your interest or you have a story that needs sharing, don't hesitate to get in touch. Details are in the show notes or just look me up on social media. And before you leave, make sure you're subscribed to be the first in the know when the next episode's out. Until then, remember, this is your circus. So embrace the chaos and keep juggling. See you next time.